it's been a little while since I've checked in with you guys and how progress is going with the skirt. The skirt project was replacing the elastic because the one that was already on it was far too tight. And like I said, the guy told me it could stretch up to like size 22, size 24, and even if you were like a size 12, that would be incredibly uncomfortable, that tightness. I'm actually quite shocked that he sold it, that he's actually got making a business out of these. So I mean, when I tried it on, it fit fine. Um, but I only had it on for like a minute or two, and I've read the tension just my size, but actually working with elastic once I've removed it, it is so hard to really, stretch out. So the reason it's been so long is due to the fact that my machine wasn't stitching, at least not with the elastic. I tried so many different fabrics and it was completely fine. I thought it was due to using this fabric, it's been the skirt, and what would happen is stitches would appear on the top but not at the bottom, or it would stitch and immediately when it would make one stitch, when it made the other one, this one would come out. It would just pull itself up because there was no, it wasn't stitched underneath, or it just wouldn't do anything. It would just put holes in the fabric. And I went back to the fabric that I used to make the Ursula costume, and it again wasn't working. That again I thought it was due to the fabric. And I asked around, and somebody suggested that I changed my needle. So I already changed the needle to the one that it came with the machine. I was like, it's still not working. And they explained, you need a stretch or elastic needle. Basically, that you need different tips for different fabrics. Like they're thicker or thinner to work with different like I said, fabrics. And I went to my local remnant Kings who have helped me out so much. If it wasn't for them, there's no way I would have got my Earthly possibly done in time. And I I pity them for having to deal with me panicking every single day, coming when I can't do this and this and this and what's this. So I can't thank them enough really. Um, yeah, they helped explain um, what you they helped me find the right needles, and they didn't explain the sizes, but um, I think it's because although I've done the first costume and it happened to work with the elastic, they thought maybe I'd already researched it enough to know the numbers. That's fair enough for that kind of assumption. I went home and I realised I don't know. Do I use number 75? Do I use 90? But I found a chart online. I can't remember what website it was, and it just said, for these fabrics use 75, for this fabric use 90. I don't understand terminology enough to try and to um confidently explain the difference between a number 75 needle and the number 90, so I don't want to send you down the wrong path. I don't do well with online written guides in terms of like the long step-by-step thing. I can't focus on them. It doesn't really take in the information, and half the time it's using particular jargon that I don't understand. I have to look up every second word. So if I'm sure there's a tutorial somewhere that will explain uh, needle sizes a lot better than I could attempt to. And again, there's written ones if you feel more confident, if you prefer to read them. But yeah, so that's I finally changed the needle, which had a little bit of trouble taking out because last time I changed the needle, I tightened it a little too much, so it was difficult to unscrew it again. It was really difficult to unscrew when I first bought it. So I just kind of had to play around with using scissors to twist the screw and tweezers. But I found when I tried to twist them, they would hit the top of the machine and the bottom, no matter which way I did it. So I ended up having to use the tip and just kind of slowly turn it. But the machine's making a slightly higher pitch noise than it was when I was sewing using other needles, but hopefully that's just a different needle, different sound. But things are working fine. One of the problems I was having difficulty working out just in my head was I've used the tartar skirt that I mentioned in the previous video as a guide for the elastic in terms of length, but it was shorter than the length of the actual skirt, the width. And what's happened is when I've been stitching is you'll see it's pretty much flat. There's no ruffle, like it's been pinched, and I couldn't work out how to counteract that. I thought if I stretched out the fabric and then pinned it, it's just going to retract back in again, and then the needles are just going to keep poking me. So what I'm doing, and it seems to be working so far, is as I'm stitching, I'm holding I'm not using pins. I'm holding the fabric, the skirt fabric, and then I'm holding this. But I'm holding small sections, smaller than what I usually would hold, because I'm pulling on this to create tension. Because when it stitches and once I let go of it, it will retract, which, as you can see here, there is that ruffled edge to it because it is retracting. So it means now when I pull on it, it does work the way I would like it to. I will have to go back over that flat section, but that'll be quite easy to fix. I've got a stitch remover and it should work out fine. Hopefully this method should work with the fact that I haven't cut too short a piece of elastic, and yeah, hopefully it all goes well and I'll have the skirt done maybe tonight, I'm not really sure. But yeah, this is kind of where I am at the moment, just stitching that first side, because what I'll do is I'll stitch that end onto it, that side of the elastic, and then I'll fold over and just stitch it again, but again it'll be on the inside of the skirt so you won't see anything. And yeah, hopefully this will not take too long. This will be a really quick process, and maybe even the next video will be the finished product. Just depends on how far I get, and if there's any more delays. I still need to work on my Ursula cosplay again because it needs some work done to it. Because I'm entering a more intense contest, and I really wasn't happy with it, and the state the back of it was with the elastic. I kind of brushed it and didn't do the whole, measure twice. And I kind of assumed this will fit, and there's so much tension on it. But that's a whole other project. If anyone wants to see how I go about fixing the back of that, let me know, and I'll start a series of videos of that process, because this will need to be done. I'll be working every day on this. I mean, tonight I'm just working on the skirt just because that's a day you need like a good sort of long few hours. Whereas I know I've only got a few hours left, I can sew stuff, and I don't want to be having to pull everything out, and then by the time I pull it out, I have to pack it all away again. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing how I work on that, just let me know. Just comment below, and I'll start doing updates for that. But yeah, I will check back in with you guys another day.